sponsors of this exhibition and this evening's event. And I would like to very much welcome you to the European Parliament. I particularly would like to welcome the Honourable Prime Minister of the UK. And I'd also, of course, like to welcome our good friend, Mr. Abdul Trambu of the Kashmir Centre EU. I am pleased to be a co-sponsor because I think it is very important for you to show not only what might have been, but what could be in terms of Kashmir and the future. Unfortunately, of course, it is always going to be a problem for you to achieve what you need to achieve for the people in relation to trade, in relation to environment, in relation to the wishes and goals of the people who live in Kashmir, as long as there is an ongoing dispute and problem. And this has been underlined recently by the events in the Indian-administered part of Kashmir, where the people have indicated their unhappiness in a number of ways, and where there are many outstanding matters which have not been resolved to their satisfaction by the Indian authorities. I have been speaking on this subject. I am the member of this Parliament for Yorkshire and the Humber area, and I've spoken at many meetings over many years on this subject. Some of you will know I was previously a minister in the last Conservative government. My responsibilities included immigration, but also I was particularly concerned and interested in the events regarding the future of Kashmir and the need to have the people of the valley deciding for themselves for their future. Recent events have suggested that at least one party to these processes is not prepared to honour the wishes of many of the people for their future. And that is why you are particularly welcome tonight here in this Parliament, and why my colleagues who are here also, Richard Howard, James Ellis, Saj Karim, are so important in the discussions that go on in this Parliament. We will not allow anybody to forget the need to bring about a peaceful and proper settlement of these matters. And I certainly can pledge that this evening that we will continue to do so, because looking at these backdrops, looking at your notices and boards here, as I said to you in my opening remarks, there is so much that can be achieved if we can find the goodwill on all sides to achieve it. I just looked at the snow leopard issue. I mean, here we have a lot of protection of animals, we have forestation, we have the outstanding matters concerned with water. Arrangements, agreements reached years and years ago, and yet, of course, not allowing a proper use of the resources because of the nature of the control of those resources by one particular country. And that is unacceptable, and I'm sure has to be solved in order to move forward. I don't intend to say anything further other than to say again how much we would like to see a settlement, and that settlement has to be with the approval of the people, not with the dissent of the people that appears to be the case in parts of certain parts of Kashmir at this time. So I'm going to now ask Mr. Trambu to speak to you. Following myself, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. Before I start, I would like to say a few words on the poster which we have here. It's the black poster on the 6th annual Kashmir EU Week, which we have dedicated to 118 young people who have been killed in Indian-held Kashmir over the last 3 months between 11th June to 5th of October of this year. So I hope all of you will join me in dedicating this 6th Kashmir Annual Week to these 118 young men and women. Now I would like to thank Timothy and of course James for organizing this 6th annual Kashmir EU Week. It's an annual event which takes every year place in this Parliament, in fact highlighting the various facets of Kashmir, the whole of Kashmir, and in particular the Indian-held Kashmir. This one we have dedicated to the 3 dimensions of Kashmir, and the 3 dimensions that we have tried to highlight are the waters of Kashmir, the environment of Kashmir, and the trade of Kashmir. But we are trying to say that the persistent conflict over the last 63 years has caused enormous problems in resolving or in addressing these issues, such as the water problem. The source of the waters which is used by India is Kashmir, and how it has been exploited over the 63 years is evidence over here. We see that there is a hydro capacity of 20,000 megawatts in the waters of Kashmir. 14,000 megawatts is generated, which is being exported unlawfully to northern India, but not to Kashmir. Only 14% of the water or the hydroelectricity which is being generated from this water is being used for Indian-held Kashmir. And then there is a situation of dams and barrages, those have been built over the last 63 years, and the problems that it has caused, particularly the problems that has been caused to Azad Jammu and Kashmir by having effectively the control of the waters. Then we have also tried to highlight the environment, how it has been polluted because of the conflict. For example, the Siachen Glacier, we have seen such a heavy arm movement there, the chemicals movement there, the kerosene movement there, the petrol movement there, that it has actually ruined whole of Siachen Glacier, and it's actually melting. So are the forests. We see the forests being cut down, we see the bunkers are being built within the forests, or hutments are being built within the forests, and the forestation of Kashmir is suffering very gravely. And it is the one of the main sources of large number of people's income in Kashmir, but that is being dearly affected because of the armed conflict. And then we go to the trade, sir. We see that the trade between the 2 parts of Kashmir is almost nothing, is almost nil. There is now, in the last few years, some moment of the trade between the 2 parts of Kashmir, restricted by items, restricted by financial constraints, and so on and so forth. Therefore, we see that the trade between the 2 parts of Kashmir is a very critical element which is not being properly and lawfully being exploited. These are the 3 new dimensions of, these are the 3 dimensions of Kashmir, if not new dimensions of Kashmir. But we want to highlight to this Parliament, and I hope with the help of James, Richard are here, Timothy is here, Saj is here, that we will, sorry sir? Oh yes, she has just arrived. Thank you very much for coming. That we will have some moment on these 3 dimensions within the European Parliament. And finally, sir, always such events take a lot of work, and of course it's not one day's work. There are lots of people who have done considerable work in achieving this event here, this Kashmir EU Week here, and I would particularly like to thank to the office of Timothy Kirkhope. Henry is not here. He has done an excellent job. Thank you very much, Henry. And of course, James's office, as usual, has done marvelous work. And I think Justine is somewhere here. She is somewhere here, is she? Yes, I can see her. Thank you very much, Justine. And finally, of course, the Kashmir Center EU office, and they indeed have done tremendous dedicated work in achieving this event tonight. And that's in particularly Chari is there, is somewhere. Chari, can you? Yes, and Damien is somewhere there. I think he's disappeared somewhere. But thank you very much to everybody for helping out, for making it possible to have this event this evening here. With few last words, please, parliamentarians, do remember Kashmir. Kashmir is an outstanding issue, and it needs and it seeks your attention, to use the Prime Minister's words. Thank you very much.